8:45 in the morning. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. And our conversation with Dana McElroy from the Indiana Regional Medical Center is brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us.
Thank you.
You're a physician assistant.
I am.
With the cardiology team.
I am.
At IRMC.
Mm-hmm.
You must have a fascinating life. You get to see all kinds of people coming in.
I do.
To visit you and to get service from the cardiology team. How long have you been at IRMC?
I've been at IRMC for 8 years, and I'm coming up on 12 years as a PA.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a lot of changes in the last 5 years, especially in IRMC.
Yeah, great changes for heart care. Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about it,
okay.
Because the changes have been things that have. We just heard the commercial from Dee Ober, who was a heart patient at IRMC. Changes that enable people to get heart care services here in Indiana that have never been available here before, so that you don't have to drive to Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gentleman in particular, in the past, there would have been a situation he would have come to the ER. They would have had to put him on a helicopter and fly him to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. We don't have to do that anymore. You can receive all of your both urgent care here as well as management of your heart disease or initial diagnosis. We also like to talk about wellness, prevention of heart disease as well. So all of that can be done in Indiana.
Well, those are some of the things I want to talk with you about. As
elements just in prevention of heart care. We talk a lot about just, we hear about all these things every day. Everybody hears, exercise more, eat right. Mm-hmm. But it's really true, and I see that in what I do, in that actually the American Heart Association just came out with, they're looking at number of lives lived or years lived healthy. And so it's not just about quantity of life. It's not about how long you live, mm-hmm. but how long can you live with a really great quality of life, not having to come see us, not having to come see a heart specialist. And so, we would talk about both of those. So things that people can do really every day. It's really more about what you do every day rather than how much you do it. So taking a walk, trying to just get as much activity as possible. Of course, smoking, we recommend not smoking even one cigarette.
Risk factors.
Mm-hmm. Eating your fruits and veggies, cutting back on processed foods. And there are other things that have come out recently, how social you are, interactions with people.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it all goes back to, I think some of the biggest events we have in our life, whether good or bad, mm-hmm. we describe them by the heart. We say, that broke my heart, or my heart's filled with joy. The heart really does respond equally well to good things and not so good things. So we do, we encourage all of that. But in the event that something happens, we have what you need at IRMC to take care of you.
We had a report earlier this morning. We were talking about having to do with golfers. Mm-hmm. And let me see if I can get the number for you. 1 in 7, well, let's put it this way. People who play golf have half of the risk of a premature death because golfing helps to relieve stress. And it talked about the amount of walking that you do. Golf is not a strenuous sport.
No.
But if you're doing it right, you get to walk. You get to move about, and moving about is really important, isn't it?
Those studies have also been done with people that have animals, particularly dogs, animals that you need to walk on a regular basis, that mm-hmm. they have lower risk of disease. The one thing people, really some of the best forms of medication out there, they don't cost money. They don't really have any side effects except good ones. And really it helps the whole body. It helps the mind, it helps the blood vessels, the heart, your muscles. And again, it leads towards that longer life, but higher quality of life as well.
Okay, so people who do exercise, obviously, they increase their odds of living a high-quality life.
Absolutely.
People who really do work hard at their bodies still can have a heart attack.
Absolutely.
And even at a young age.
Yes.
So tell me about some of the signs that you might be having a heart difficulty.
We anytime anybody watches TV, we see the classic, people that they hold the center of their chest, they feel pain, maybe they're short of breath. Do people get those symptoms with heart attacks? Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of other symptoms that come about, particularly females, diabetics. They might have symptoms that aren't as classic. Things I would look for are, in general, would be, are you having less ability to do what you do on a daily basis without becoming short of breath? without maybe getting some pain in your chest or discomfort. If you're starting to feel, a lot of you think you call it reflux, but it's coming more when you're active, when you're walking, when you're climbing steps. Those would be things to look for that, hey, something might be going on. Of course, if you really are feeling off, you feel like you're having a really bad episode of nausea, pain in the center of your chest or upper stomach, sometimes even between your shoulder blades, feeling short of breath, sweating can be a really big part of this, feeling pain that goes into your arms or into your neck or your jaw. Those are all things to really have concern and come and check it out. There are things we can do in the ER that we can do EKGs, we can do blood work to see what's going on. And of course, if there is concern, you can be admitted to the hospital for further testing, or if, of course, we do diagnose a heart attack, we can take you to the cath lab.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things, one of our other testimonials was with Dan Mock, and Dan was talking about how when he walked into the hospital, he walked into the ER and he said, the only thing he said was, I think I'm having a heart attack. Boom. That started the train rolling there. And
absolutely.
And the way he said, he was so impressed with how quickly everybody sprang into action, even to the point where they were taking him to the cath lab and security guards show up out of nowhere to make sure that it's a clear path for him to get out of there. That's how concerned they are when someone presents, and it turns out that they are having a heart attack.
Yes, the heart is a muscle. It has a very, very simple task, just to pump blood through the body. But if something happens to that heart muscle and blood does not reach, parts of the body, its life cannot be sustained. So we use the term time is muscle. Mm-hmm. So the longer it takes to get to the cath lab, the more damage you can have to the heart, which is why it's very important to get there as quickly as possible. So I actually have some statistics on our cath lab if you. So let's see. In 2019, they did 590 cardiac catheterizations.
Wow.
590. And they did, of those, there were 203 that went on to actually receive stents, or what we call PCI. So, it's great. I mean, those would be 590 people that we would have had to have shipped someplace else, transferred to another facility to have that done. But they had it done here, and that's wonderful for the community.
Yeah, my goodness. There's 600 helicopter flights that didn't need to be taken.
Yes.
600 families that didn't have to drive to Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
And all of those attendant things.
And, if there is a reason to go to another facility, obviously we make that happen. But we're thrilled that we have this opportunity here. And then, of course, there's the follow-up care, which is what I'm involved in on a daily basis and caring for people for whatever cardiac problem they might have.
Well, that's where I was going next. You're a physician's assistant with the cardiology team. We're talking with Dana McElroy this morning here on Indiana in the Morning. What do you do, and how do you get involved in that health care?
That's a great question. So what I do on a daily basis is I get up every morning, I go to the hospital. We have a list of patients that are on our service. The first thing we do is to look at, are there new names? So there are the people that came in overnight that are admitted for, we see what they're admitted for. They're admitted for chest pain or shortness of breath or whatever it might be. We then go to the floor and we see the patient. So really the whole process, it takes a while. What I would do is get into the patient's chart. I would review their entire medical history. I would see, have we seen these patients before? What is their cardiac history? I review any recent testing they've had. And then I look at what's happening right then and there. What blood work did they have done? EKGs, other tests, look for any abnormalities, anything that might point me to what's happening. Then I go and I do the most important part, which is talk to the patient. Talk to the patient, find out what's happening, find out what might have been going on in their life recently, asking these questions about, have you been more short of breath? Have you noticed anything different? Have you had medication changes? Whatever has been going on with their health. Typically family members are there and can be very helpful in that as well. After we go through all of that, then I do an examination that, can maybe, again, pinpoint as to what's happening. And then from all of that, you make a diagnosis as to, what is, based upon everything I've just reviewed and talking to the patient in my examination, what is the diagnosis? And then from there, it's what tests do we have to order? What do we have to do? What medications do we need to change? And then we work in a team. And so, once all of that's done, We all work as a team to, the physicians we work with will review the cases with them. And then, of course, you hear about the electronic medical records. So then we document, everything that was just done. So, and then there are other patients there that are follow-ups. So we'll see, maybe we would have done something yesterday and we follow up with them that day to make any additional changes. So
when somebody has the stent put in or has something else and they get through the immediacy of the heart attack or whatever the symptoms might be, the blockage, whatever it is, and you get to the other side of that, then comes an aftercare program that really is very important, isn't it? Because if you restore them to health, you don't stay stagnant. You either have to get moving again and get back to a healthy lifestyle, or you're going to suffer a problem in the future, or you're more likely to suffer a problem in the future. That's as important as anything, isn't it?
We do a lot of patient education. So there's a lot of things that we can offer, the procedure, the stent, the medications. We encourage cardiac rehab, so, an exercise monitored exercise program after a heart attack. But really a lot of it, again, comes back to what somebody does every day in their life, maybe making dietary changes, stopping smoking, exercising more, which will then hopefully stop the progression of disease, but also lead to that better quality of life.
Yeah. I always say you can't just get rid of a bad habit. You have to add a new habit.
You do. You do. You do.
A new good habit to replace that bad habit. Well, this has been a really good conversation. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I've got to get you back.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I'm having palpitations.
Just from being on the radio?
For that, yeah. But I mean, it goes to show that the heart really is, it connects to everything and everything you do every day.
Yeah.
And it takes in everything. So take care of it. That's the reason why the heart gets a whole month.
Yeah. And obviously, if you're having those symptoms that you were talking of earlier, there's an ER that you need to get to.
There is an ER that, yes. And, obviously it's open 24/7. So if you have any concerns, if you don't have any urgent concerns, but you're wondering what's happening, I am feeling a little more short of breath than normal, or I've been getting some twinges of pain that I'm concerned about. IPG cardiology is available. They have appointments. Give them a call and get yourself checked out.
Very, very good. The IRMC Physician Group is an amazing organization. You're a part of it.
I am. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Dana McElroy is the voice of Indiana County WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM.